Alright, welcome everybody to another mixing video. Today we're going to be looking at part 5 of mixing a song start to finish. And last time we did some top-down mixing, which actually put us, like, I would say about halfway there to a finished mix. So today we're going to look primarily at mixing the drums. And then next time will hopefully be everything else besides the vocals. So yeah, moving on, let's go ahead and get started. I'll make all the changes, and then at the very end I'm going to come back and tell you what I did to everything. So let's check it out. Real quick, let me just explain what I'm doing here. Since I have multi-track drums here, which are they're actually coming from I believe they're live drums, but I could be wrong there. But anyway, even if they're a sample, they could still be out of phase. So this is just a really cool plugin that aligns the phase, and I'm actually gonna even include this pre-programmed beat here, and let's see if this is gonna improve the phase relationship or not. Okay, so to me it did make it sound a little bit better. So real quick, I'll go ahead and explain what I did here. I just increased the saturation on the tape. Then I moved on and added some saturation on the console here. just a little bit of compression, not necessarily to tame it, but just to get that sort of aggressiveness and um, give some energy to that loop. And then added some low end, cleaned up some muddiness, and then dialed back the trim. That's it. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the overheads. And in fact, I'm going to bring the original beat out. And I'm going to try and keep everything as level matched as possible and just work on tones here. All right, so let's check everything out. Okay, so we already looked at the beat. The only thing that I added onto there after the fact was this R bass, just to get that harmonic saturation, just to bring that bass line that's underlying in that little loop, just to bring that forward. Okay, then I went over to the overheads. We already looked at the phase alignment on everything. Just crank that tape just to get some of that saturation, and I did that pretty much on all the drums. Console saturation as well. Some high passing at 40, getting rid of some boxiness. A little bit of a lift at 7.5, and then some saturation, because the saturation really helps drums, as I've said before. Then I went over to my kick. Once again, same trick with the tape. Like I said, I did that on everything, so we don't need to look at that anymore. I actually dialed back some of the gain from the console on the kick here. So once again, I used the compressor just for some energy. It didn't really need compression. It's just to give some energy to this kick. So I actually did quite a lot to the EQ here. I boosted quite a bit at 60 to give some fatness and really hear that kick sort of shine through. Got rid of some 350 because I don't like that in drums. I widened up the Q and got some 3K in there to hear some of that beater sound, and just to get some air on it, some 10K, and harmonic saturation from the Revival, and then trimmer. Snare top, same thing with the tape, obviously. Getting some saturation from the channel strip here, the console. High passing all the way up to 100 because I'm going to add some body above that. Still low end, but it's above 100. I end up adding that later, so we'll get to that. Instead of cutting at 350, this time I found the nastiness around 500 to 600, so I cut that out and got rid of some of the, there was like a little bit of a ringing sound in the drums, so I cut that out around 1.5K. Compression for energy. On drums, I like a ratio of 4:1, and slow attack, fast release. Circuit 2 is kind of more aggressive, or Circuit 1, I should say, is more aggressive, so I like that for drums. Transformer sound gives it some fatness. Okay, so I'm adding some saturation here from the 1073, adding some body at 220, adding some high-end sizzle or cracking of the snare at 7.2, and then some tip top here at 12K. Snare bottom, pretty much just high passing and adding as much distortion as I can with just the tape, the 1073 and the console emulation. Hi-hat, same thing, saturation and high passing all the way up to 300. Moving on to the toms, I just real quickly set it to low bias. Didn't crank the tape because the toms, I didn't really want to hit the tape hard on those. And then on both the toms, I just cut some muddiness at 350 and high passed around 60 to leave room for the kick there. Now for the real sweet part, distorting the tape on the room once again, adding all the drive from the console, hitting it hard on the input of the console, high passing around 45 because the kick track really has the low end. I don't like getting rid of all the low end on my rooms and overheads, but I do like to get rid of quite a bit of it and make room for that kick. I just let the kick do its job, and let the room still have that low end, but get out of the way of the kick. So yeah, I cut a little bit here around 350. Took out some ice pickiness here at 3K. Added some of that body back in, And then the great what made this room sound turn into what I think of as a classic room sound is adding the monster here. So this is an 1176 in all buttons mode essentially, and slow attack, fast release, which is just as punchy as you can ever think of when it's on all buttons mode. I'm making sure that the low end isn't triggering it. I set this high frequency detection all the way up, and click the punch button in there to retain that punch. And I'm mixing it in only about 40% because, as you know, this is a classic drum room mic technique, and this plugin just makes that sound so easy to accomplish, and it's all within the VMR, which I love. So I could have used my UAD 1176, but I decided I'd rather just use this because it's just a little bit simpler. I had to dial back about 7 dB of gain because this added quite a bit. But yeah, other than that, I added some reverb to that room, just to make it sound like it was recorded in a nice space. I'll go to that reverb right now. So I used the shortest time on plate B, which is a darker sound, and I think this is great for like a room sound. And I filtered out some of the low end, as well as the high end. This is the Abbey Roads reverb technique. And yeah, as far as drums, that's all I did. So let's listen to it a little bit more. I'll pop the chain in and out. I already did that, but let's listen to it again now that our ears are a little bit fresh from the music. And yeah, I think you'll realize that these drums are sounding more realistic and a little more professional sounding. So yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so to me, the drums are now a lot more punchy. I had to raise the snare a little bit there to get that snare to sound about as loud as it was, because I was actually losing a little bit of gain on the drum bus here, but now it's about back to where it needed to be. But yeah, these drums, they sound to me a lot more glued together. They sound a lot tighter, a lot fatter, a lot more punchy. And to me, it just sounds more like a drum sound that you would hear on a record. It was a good sound before, but now it's just bigger, fatter, punchier, tighter. That's really the best I can describe it. In my opinion, it just sounds better. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed these techniques. I hope that you learned something new. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. If you disliked it, you can give it a dislike. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. If you really liked it, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. And I hope to see you in the next part of this series. Hopefully we can finish everything up I'm not gonna have to do too much here on the bass or the electric guitars. Um, Probably just work on some of the guitars that I was given from Abhinav. And yes, hopefully I'll finish everything. I'll leave the vocals for a separate video, and possibly the rest of the effects. So yeah, there might be like 3 or 4 more videos of this series, and I hope to see you in the next part. Thank you so much once again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.